I want to talk to you about coronavirus, not about the medical aspects because I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one, thankfully, on TV. I am a person who does communication, and I have a framework that I use for communication that I call breakthrough communication skills. And I want to apply that to this situation and see if I can help you understand how you can be better prepared to deal with coronavirus and the discussion surrounding it. Okay? So that's my hope. And I should say, this came to me after I had two discussions in the last 24 hours where I spun out of control. I started to think about it. I was talking to two different people, and I started to go through what it could mean for my business, what it could mean for me personally. And next thing you know, it's, oh, this is horrible. Oh, my goodness. And I had those people more scared than they were when the discussion started. And that's not good for them, and that's not good for me. So the first thing I would tell you before you even use my framework is think about it and put it in perspective. All doom and gloom is not going to get you through this situation. It's just not. So let me offer you my framework that I call my breakthrough communication skills. There are three of them. I'm going to go through each. I'm going to apply it to this coronavirus situation. The first one is attunement. How do you get in tune with the person you're talking to? Think of a guitar. You have a guitar and it has strings. I play a little guitar. You can see the one back there. If two people are playing the G string, they both have to be tuned exactly the same. They can be slightly off, pitched high, pitched low, doesn't matter. Or they can be perfectly on, but if those two guitar strings are not in perfect tune together, it will sound really bad. Even if they're both playing the perfect song, it'll sound really bad. So that's why you hear orchestras and people playing together get tuned with each other. So in attuning to the coronavirus, what is it that the other person is trying to accomplish? Are they trying to vent? Are you trying to vent? Are they trying to find out what you know about it? Are they trying to learn from you how you're handling it in your business or in your life? Those are very different objectives. If you can determine what the objective is of that discussion early on, you can have a better discussion. And by the way, this applies to any discussion. Knowing what you're trying to accomplish at the front end, like having an agenda at a meeting, assures you that you're going to focus on the right things. So that's one, attunement. The second one is experience management. Okay? We all have different experiences in our lives, and we have to bring them to the fore. So, for instance, I have a relative who was affected by the MRSA some years ago, and she had some pretty invasive surgery because of it. And that would affect her perspective on coronavirus and anything else. It also might affect the family's perspective. So if I'm talking to them, I've got that in the back of my mind, and I'm understanding that that experience would color their perception of this crisis. I'll give you another example. I have a relative in my family who's in South Korea, where they've just had a couple of increasing cases. And he's in the military, and the first military person in South Korea was tested positive in the last 48 hours for coronavirus. Talking to his mother, his father, his siblings would be different than just talking to a person who has no connection to it. First of all, they're hypersensitive to it, rightfully so. They're also more aware of what's going on and more concerned. So having that experience management, knowing their experience, also knowing your own internal experiences. Do you get really freaked out about germs? Are you one of those germaphobes? Or do you never wash your hands? Knowing your experiences, knowing how you perceive these things can also help in your discussions. Knowing it and keeping it in your mind. I tend to get really worried about germs. Then you will deal with things differently. And you might say to the person, hey, I tend to be really worried about germs. So what I'm about to say might sound like someone who's really worried about germs. I just want to let you know that. So now you're giving them the perspective so they can manage their experience based on yours. That can be really useful. The third thing is storytelling. How you share the information with other people. Believe it or not, storytelling. I'm not talking about Anna and Elsa and Frozen and all that. I'm not talking about fiction. I'm talking about real communication of information, valuable information. The way you tell it makes a difference. Oh, coronavirus it's going to be devastating. It's going to totally ruin the whole entire world. That's one way to approach it. Or, yeah, it's a concern to me. And yeah, I have some concerns about what it might do for my business, but I really don't know enough right now to understand exactly what's going to happen. I'm following the headlines, but I'm not at that place where I really think that it could be a problem that I need to like focus all my attention on. How we manage that story is really critical. Think of how you might talk about coronavirus with a child versus how you might describe it to an adult. By the way, if you have children or you're around children, they're going to start asking about it. And the way you say it is, oh, this is a global pandemic and thousands of people are going to die. That's not what a child wants to hear, right? So we use storytelling and experience management and attunement to shape that message. And coronavirus is a perfect situation to apply this. You can also apply this breakthrough communication skills, as I call them, attunement, experience management, and storytelling, to any kind of communication situation. It allows you to think before you speak and to have a purpose for your message, and also to make sure that you're connecting with that person in a useful way for both of you. So I hope you'll apply this to coronavirus in your discussions with people, and you might even apply it in other ways in your business and personal life. I know for me and some of my clients, it's made a huge difference in how they accomplish things, like night and day. If you'd like to talk more about it with me, or you have some questions about it or confusion, I'm happy to talk to you. I'll put the information right at the bottom right now so you can reach out to me and we can talk about your situation. Have a great day, and remember, how you handle communication has a lot of effect on how people react to you and to situations, including one like coronavirus.